don't buy something unless you know how it works or how it shoots when it comes to handguns. But as far as the trigger pull, I mean, that's something that you're going to be able to experience on your own. To be honest with you, it's not an issue for me. I can go from my Glock 26 Gen 4 to this while I'm at the range that same day and shoot groups just as accurately, almost with both guns. Yes, I am more accurate with the Glock 26 because it is a larger gun. It fits my hand better. I have bigger hands, so it fits my hand better. It has a lighter trigger pull. It actually has legitimate sights that are very efficient and effective. And it's striker fired, and I'm more comfortable with that. That's what I carried for years. Where the Smith Wesson is a little bit different. But for a close situation, your adrenaline's going to be going. It's going to be basically point and shoot. You're not going to really be, oh, let me get my three dots up and whatnot. It's going to be a point and shoot situation if you're encountering a threat within a very close proximity of 3 to 5 feet. And that's just going to be muscle memory and whatnot that you need to practice at the range. What I'll do at the range is I'll actually carry my 380 with me on an inside the waistband holster, as you see here, and I will simulate situations after situations where it requires me to draw my handgun out, get good sight alignment, sight picture, good trigger pull, trigger control, target acquisition, and I'll actually engage that target and practice that way. And I'll put my body and my mind under stress so that I can kind of, repeat that over and over again to get into the habit. Like I said, a lot of it becomes point and shoot. So you're going to be concealed carrying, realize that. The other thing that I can't stress enough about is target acquisition. For those of you that don't know what target acquisition is that's the differentiating between a threat and a non-threat. So what I'll do at the range too, and you can buy silhouettes at the gun shop or whatnot for target practice, is those paper silhouettes that have those individuals that have knives or guns, threatening you supposedly. Put some of those up. Also put some plain silhouettes, paper targets of, the ones where they don't have knives or guns, and engage yourself in a situation. Try to simulate it, and what I'll do is I will practice engaging those threats and not engaging the non-threats. That's going to be key, because the other thing is when your mind's going really quick and you're racing through, you don't want to engage a non-threat accidentally. That's the last thing you want to do. The other thing is obviously grip for me was a huge thing, because grip is huge when getting a good handle on your firearm when drawing it out of the holster. That's key also when you're actually engaging a threat. Stance is another thing that you're going to want to practice, being on the balls of your feet, whether you go isosceles or you decide to have a different stance. It just depends on you, but there's so many components. I could go into a different video about that, but specifically regarding this gun, I think it's an excellent option for anyone that wants a concealed carry. It's extremely small, it's extremely comfortable. I've had no problems carrying it with me for upwards of 8 to 10 hours, whether I'm walking, whether I'm sitting down in a vehicle, whether I'm at the movie theaters, whether I'm out to dinner with my family. No one knows I even have this on me. And let me stress, if you're going to conceal carry, get your concealed carry license in whatever state you live in. But it's a very comfortable gun, very effective, in my opinion, anywhere between 5 and 20 yards, extremely effective. I can put all 6 rounds within a bullseye center mass, pretty consistent within about, like I said, within 5 yards, center mass bullseye, no problem. You go out to 10 yards, 15, 20 yards, I can still hit center mass, but it's about a 2.5 to 3 inch spread as you go further distances. So very accurate handgun, and like I said, it has been safety checked. Let me give you an example of how easy it is to slide the slide release button down and have the slide engage forward. It's extremely easy. Doesn't take any effort whatsoever. That's another thing that I really like about this handgun. You'll notice as far as the texturing goes, Smith & Wesson has done a great job as far as adding texture to the top of the slide here. and on the grip. It's extremely comfortable to hold. This outdoes the LCP hands down with no problem as far as how comfortable it is to hold and how it fits in my hand with, you know, the comfort level. The other thing that I was going to touch up on was basically the material that they made this gun out of. So it's got a polymer frame to it, and they have done an excellent job as far as coating this slide with rust resistant material. You know, it handles wear and tear very well. And Smith & Wesson, when you purchase the gun, basically what they give you is what you see here. Aside from this box of ammo, aside from my holster that I use for inside the waistband carry, they do give you 2 magazines. Both of them hold 6 rounds, so you could technically do 6 plus 1 in the chamber of the actual handgun. They do give you a magazine with a finger extension, and then they do give you a magazine with, you know, the mag that sits flush. I carry both. For those of you that don't think a 380 is capable of stopping a threat, I will tell you, you are wrong. In law enforcement, they teach you it's about shot placement. If you're carrying a 45 and you can't hit your threat, or you can't stop a threat because you can't shoot accurately, it doesn't matter if you carry a 45 or a 357 Magnum. It doesn't make a difference, or a Desert Eagle. If you got good shot placement, you can stop a threat for the most part. The 380 is a shorter condensed round, similar to that of the 9mm, but smaller. So it doesn't have as much force behind it, stopping power, but it's still about shot placement. So they, like I said, it's a great option for concealed carry because it's truly a pocket pistol. It is very, very small. And if you got 12 rounds and you can't stop a threat in a defensive situation, then you shouldn't be carrying probably a concealed carry permit or a handgun, period, because 12 rounds for a threat, in my opinion, is sufficient enough. But like I said, you have to practice, be extremely proficient in your gun, know everything about it, how it works, everything, and practice. Because if you don't and you think you're just, hey, I'm going to go buy this gun, get my concealed weapons permit, and just walk out and just conceal carry, and you ever get yourself in a defensive situation where you have to defend yourself, your family, or the public, and you can justify that, and you engage that threat, and you've never practiced or hardly practiced, good luck. You're more of a threat yourself to the public than you are a help if you haven't practiced with your weapon systems. So, like I said, practice is key. What I personally choose to carry, and some people will disagree with me, and that's fine, but I'm fully aware that full metal jacket rounds will penetrate further. But I do carry hollow points. And the hollow points that I carry are made by Dynamic Research Technologies. You can get these anywhere pretty much. They're $20 for 20 rounds. They're high penetrating, high accuracy hollow points. And they're obviously 380. What they state is that in a ballistic test that they did, they did penetrate 9 to 11 inches in a ballistic gelatin, and obviously the hollow point fragments. And what they state is that aside from it being an extremely accurate round, it's highly reliable, and the round will actually dissolve once it fragments inside the target or the threat. So I've had no malfunctions shooting this round whatsoever. I've had no malfunctions shooting this handgun whatsoever. It's been an excellent handgun up at the range. I've had no failure to ejects, no failure to loads, no issues whatsoever. The other thing that I'll tell you that I like about what Smith & Wesson has done is that in this 380, unlike the LCP, unlike the Glock 42, which I love Glocks, this handgun is actually capable of what's called double strike capability. So in double strike capability, what that means is, say for example, you pull the trigger. So you pull the trigger once, right? Round doesn't go off. You can pull the trigger again in hopes that the round will actually go off. That's a great feature. That is something that's not available in the LCP. It's not available in the Glock 42. It's not available in the SIG 228. And price point is another thing. I mean, for everything that these guys offer you for $340, it's an excellent option. like I said, for 340, it's a steal in my opinion. Something that's comfortable, something that's accurate, something that does have still safety features, lightweight, 2 magazines, all these things. I mean, actual sights. I think it's a great buy for someone that wants a concealed carry. So that's my opinion in comparison to the other 380s. Don't cheap out and get yourself a cheap holster. Get yourself something that's going to actually be comfortable to have your weapon system in for long periods of time. Where I live, the weather changes all the time. You know, we have winter for basically 8 months out of the year, 9 months out of the year, and then for 3 months we have, you know, nice weather. So this is something I can carry with me all year round, no matter what. And this holster is extremely comfortable to carry this handgun in. When choosing a handgun or caliber, you're going to want to, like I said, relate it to yourself. Do you live in a warm climate? Do you live in a cold climate? Do you have the option of wearing lots of clothing outside, or are you in a t-shirt and shorts? You know, do you live where, you know, the sun goes down fairly quickly if you're in Alaska, depending on the year? I don't know. Are you planning on carrying your handgun with you when you go out to dinner and go out to the movies? Or are you going to be carrying it when you're walking? Do you live in really bad parts of town where you're worried that, you know, it may not just be one threat that I might engage, it may be multiple threats depending on where I live. So that's all going to play into what handgun you carry, whether it's this one, an LCP, a SIG 228, a Glock 42, a Glock 26, Glock 27, or even a larger caliber gun that holds more rounds. Those are things you're going to want to think about. So anyway, guys, if you have any questions, comments, please feel free to leave them down below, and I'd be more than happy to get back to you.